One new route from Stockholm. What's the growth plans for Sweden?
The growth plans at the moment are very much dependent on what the Swedish government does with this rumoured travel tax. If they introduce a travel tax, then it would be very bad for growth, not just from Ryanair, but also from the SAS and Norwegian as well. If they don't go ahead with the travel tax, then we will grow more and grow faster here.
You want to pull out if the tax will be a reality?
No, we won't pull out, but we will reduce flights and we'll reduce traffic at the Swedish airports if there's a travel tax, because frankly, we can make more money flying in other European countries like Spain, Italy, Greece, where they don't have a travel tax.
You've been talking to Arlanda, the big main port in Stockholm. What's going on there?
We'd like to fly into Arlanda. We're using the example that their two main airlines, SAS and Norwegian, are losing money and are not growing up here in Sweden. Arlanda, Swedavia needs to find a way of working with low-fare airlines like Ryanair if they're going to continue to grow. We've again pointed them to the example of Copenhagen, where Ryanair has been growing very strongly in the last year on the back of a growth discount scheme which is available to all airlines. And Swedavia needs to begin to develop these kind of growth discount schemes if air travel and tourism in Sweden is to continue to grow.
Do you have problems in the discussions with Swedavia?
No, but I mean, the discussions are not going anywhere very quickly. It's not likely we're going to be flying to Arlanda, certainly not in the next 12 months. But, it's important that we talk and we continue to talk, because I think if anything happens with either Norwegian or with SAS, Swedavia will need to do something quickly to restore growth.
A year ago, you had to move from Gothenburg City Airport to Landvetter.
Yep.
How's that developed?
It's gone very well. I mean, we've gone up to Landvetter, we've added routes, we've also increased the London Stansted frequency to 3 flights daily. We had some competition from SAS there for about 6 months, but SAS have now closed their route from Gothenburg to London. In fact, they've closed some of the other Gothenburg routes as well. And we're talking to Gothenburg about perhaps taking up some of those routes or expanding there to take up the gaps that have been left behind by SAS closures.
You've been talking about being a feeder airline for example, Norwegian and their intercontinental flights. How's that discussion going?
Those talks are progressing. There's a lot of agreement already in the discussions with Norwegian, but we still have to dot the I's and cross the T's. There's some technical issues there, aligning our reservation systems and booking systems and who look after the passengers when things go wrong. But, the talks are making progress.
How do you regard Norwegian's long-haul expansion?
I think I think they've done well with the long-haul expansion. I think they've been very unfairly treated by the US government by being blocked, which is completely unacceptable in a European-US open skies agreement. The US government shouldn't be blocking Norwegian, and the European Union should be taking much more affirmative action to support Norwegian's rights to fly to the US. I mean, in Europe, we don't block American carriers flying here, so the US isn't in a position to block Norwegian flying to the US. It shouldn't have happened, and the EU should be much more vocal in straightening out that problem.
You're now flying to main airports. You have more business class passengers. True. And Michael OLeary is a nicer guy. Why?
Always been a nice guy, just misunderstood. I think for the first maybe 20, 25 years of our growth, it was always about who had the lowest fares. We've now established that Ryanair has the lowest fares everywhere in Europe. And I think we've learned, though, that customers want a combination of low fares and really great customer service. And for the last 2 years, we've been investing heavily in our customer service, allocated seating, free second carry-on bag, better website, better mobile app. We now have new aircraft, new interiors, new cabin crew uniforms. So the whole experience of flying with Ryanair is getting better and better, but the prices are still falling.
So being a sincere company is helping your growth?
Who knew that being nice to customers was going to be so good for our business? If I'd only known, I think we would have been nicer to our customers many years ago.
You stated before that Scandinavia is an important market. Is that still the thing?
I think Scandinavia will always be an important market for us. It's just at the moment it's not growing very rapidly because it's not as competitive a market as Germany, Italy, Greece, or the Central European countries, maybe Poland and Romania. We still need to campaign up here to have more competitive airport access, less travel taxes on visitors, not just for Ryanair's passengers, but for all passengers. Because I still think the Nordic region is one of the great undiscovered tourism jewels of Europe.
How's your relations to the unions in Ryanair for the cabin crew and the pilots?
We don't have relationships with unions. We continue to deal directly with all our pilots and our cabin crew. We've recently successfully completed new 5-year pay deals with all pilots, all cabin crew, that gives them job security, guaranteed pay increases over the next 4 or 5 years, better rosters, bank holiday weekends every weekend. So relationship between us and our people is excellent. The unions, the SAS unions, continue to sit on the outside complaining and giving out, but that's what they do when they're not on strike in SAS.
Michael OLeary and Ryanair is like this. How long are you going to stay on?
Hopefully, certainly for the next 2 or 3 years, until eventually then the board will get fed up of me and ask me to leave. But I hope that won't happen for another 2 or 3 years yet.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Well done. Great.